If you know me, no doubt by now, you are aware that I have a soft spot in my heart for magical realism. For magical realism as a way of being that goes beyond mere naive realism. Naive realism is the transactional realm. It's the quotidian and the everyday. It is the banality and arrogance of the been there's and seen that's of the adult mind. And I have freed myself, friends. I have freed myself from I forgot. I have freed myself from this naive realism because instead, friends, I have figured out the protocols and procedures for booting up a new semiotic universe, for booting up a kind of magical realism, a theater of the absurd, a kind of aesthetic realm that I can dwell in, a waking dream where I create and perceive my world. I am speaking to you about deploying a poetic consciousness, about spraying the world with effervescence, about awakening the lethargy of custom and the film of familiarity and redirecting it instead towards the wonders of existence. I have figured out, friends, how to literally live in a realm of magical realism. I am not exaggerating when I say to you that I know how to italicize perception. I know how to set the world to music. I know how to re-enchant continuously my field of awareness. I literally live in a poem of my own choosing. And this kind of magical realism is akin to turning your life into a work of art, to thinking of your life like a living film. We are living cinema. Time becomes liquid upon this realization that you can enchant and paint the world with mind, that you can author stories, that you can live in a story world of your own making. Magical realism can be more real than mere naive realism in all of its banality. It is like when Alain de Botton talks about the difference between a poet and a journalist, the quotidian and the miraculous. He says a journalist may be more accurate describing the details of an event than a poet, but a poet may nevertheless reveal truth of a deeper sort, beyond the literal grid. So when I speak about magical realism, I speak about realms beyond the literal grid. Magical realism is beyond the literal grid. It is beyond the naivete of cynics, the naivete of the brooding resignation of fatalists and nihilists. They've missed the plot. They've lost the through line. This naive realism that over-materializes, that over-simplifies, that robs the world of all of its poetry is such poverty and such ignorance, friends, because they are not awake, they are asleep. But those of us that realize that the world is made out of pure imagination can drape the cosmos with story and song, and we can sing the songs that orchestrate the universe, and space and time and mind can collapse into each other as time becomes liquid and we become cinema. We've stopped trying to make art and we have become art. Like samurais or the Karate Kid, we get into position and we cue the song and it all just happens. It all just happens, and we have moved from an ordinary world because the world is full of magic things patiently waiting for our senses to grow sharper. This is what Yeats wrote, or the poet Nisargadatta. The other world, the dream world we long for, is this world rightly seen. Magical realism is simply this world rightly seen. It can be like the film Amélie. We can literally make our lives song. We can become poetry. So if you're feeling cynical, in the throngs of despair, living a life of quiet desperation, drudgering away in unconsciousness, in the default setting, in the rat race, in that constant gnawing sense of having had and lost some infinite thing, as David Foster Wallace wrote, know this, friends, the promised land, the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, it's all there for the taking. If you open your eyes and understand the protocols and procedures for booting up magical realism, right? Song is proof that the human race is greater than it knows, right? Cinema is truth 24 times per second. Move beyond naive realism and go into the realm of ecstatic truth, of literature, of poetry, and song. And friends, like the greatest moments of your life that no doubt you've known so well, that first kiss, that moment when somebody moved you to the point of tears, when something somewhere incredible waiting to be known was finally seen, and you were like, more of this. You will know what's possible, and you know what I'm talking about. And so that, friends, is what I want to leave you with. Like, don't brood. Don't dismiss. Don't grow old. Don't grow cynic. Don't lose the faith. Don't lose the plot. Friends, don't lose the plot. For the world is full of magic things patiently waiting for our senses to grow sharper. And there's literally a field of possibility, a possibility space at the doorstep of every moment, ready to be seized in a kind of ecstatic absolution and deep play and improvisational theater and dance and song and art and truth. The truth that sets us free, the truth from which nothing can dislodge us. Catalepsis, the Greeks call it. This is what is possible. This is magical realism, and this is what we're here to do. It's what we're here to do. It's what we're here to do.